City's alphabet gender soup. Pelters. Stand by 4. Incoming. They don't just teach you the 3 R's in Dundee, pretty badly it would seem, because the city had the worst record in Scotland for hires results in 2018, but you've got to bone up on LGBT terminology. All pupils get a charter with more than 50 definitions and descriptions about sex, gender, identity and way more. It's a bewildering array and I'm glad I didn't have to sit a test on it. It's also highly debatable, if not, in large part, downright nonsense. It asserts that a person's gender isn't necessarily what they were born with, but deeply felt internal and individual experience, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned to them at birth. Or genderqueer, a person who does not subscribe to conventional gender distinctions but identifies with neither, both, or a combination of male and female genders. Agender, a new one on me, a person who does not have a specific gender identity or recognizable gender expression. Or, another new one, neutrois, a person who has a neutral gender or no gender. It has considerable overlap with agender. Then, bigender, a person who has 2 gender identities or some combination of both. This is utter biological and tautological nonsense. If I was a parent in Dundee and my kid came home with this for homework, I'd follow the Nancy Pelosi example. Totally batty. It only takes an epidemic to trigger hundreds of internet experts who know what caused it. According to innumerable posts and memes, it's the eating of bats, in soup, in Wuhan, which triggered the coronavirus. Except the virals soaking the web were taken, not in Wuhan, but mainly in Palau, which is about 2,000 miles away and has a closer connection to the US than China. Palau is made up of more than 300 volcanic and coral islands with an abundance of white sandy beaches, sounds heavenly, and dense jungle, where the bats hang out. It became independent in 1994 after being part of a UN trust territory administered by America and today relies on financial aid from the US. The islands were the battleground for some of the fiercest fighting in the Pacific in the Second World War when they were liberated from the Japanese. Palauans can also serve in the US military. So, whatever has caused the virus, it is almost certainly not connected to having a winged creature in your soup, which isn't served in China anyway. I ate a witchetty grub once, but I draw the line at a recently deceased Chiroptera. Down the hatch. There's a proposal to put up one of those blue heritage plaques in Oxford to Bob Hawke, the former Australian Labour Prime Minister who was a Rhodes Scholar there in 1954. Not, however, for launching Medicare in Oz, or floating the dollar or breaking from Britain. No, for downing a yard of ale, 2.5 pin. For more on this story, visit the news article link.